I wanted to ask you, what are the challenges that you face? I've had constant theft. I've had constant battle with suppliers on margin. I've had everywhere I look, every day is a new problem. So far, I've only heard good things about your story. I want to know what are the bad things that's happened to you in your journey and how did you overcome them? Maybe if you can give me some examples, that would be great.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I can tell you um, from starting up, it was very tough. People didn't take me very seriously because I was 24 years old. They would laugh at my face when I talked about e-commerce because it wasn't a big thing. Everybody thought I was, I left the US and, I studied in a prestigious university, a great job, and all that stuff. And I came back and I was here trying to open up an online store. And luckily, luckily, it worked out. Every year has been a challenge.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Direct to Chile, a podcast where we discuss about what it's really like to do business in Chile. Having been here 10 years, I have learned a lot of things that are particular to this country. And the idea of this podcast is to speak to people who are doing business in Chile, like myself, and hear their side of this story. My guest today is Aakash Goklani. Aakash is an industrial engineer from Boston Northeastern University and a passionate entrepreneur and someone I'm proud to say a good friend. Aakash is founder and CEO of Eliteperfumes.cl, Chile's number one online perfume shop that seeks to democratize access to luxury. I believe they're the largest fragrance e commerce company in the country with around 3,000 SKUs, projected to 5,000 by end of the year. And what's even more impressive is that Elite Perfumes has a run rate of the last 12 months of over 20 million US dollars, which for a country the size of Chile is extremely impressive. So, without further ado, I am proud to introduce my friend Aakash. Aakash, thank you very much for being in the show.
Hey, Amit, thank you for having me and thank you for the kind words. I should probably have you write up my dating profile. That was excellent. Thank you. I'm
Sure.
happy to be here.
Akash, I want to get into the business, but before that, do you sell Shakira perfumes?
I do. I do. We've seen a little bit of an uptick these past few days after her song released. It's been very entertaining. I'm just amazed about these marketing geniuses who have made such creative memes. It's been absolutely hilarious.
I thought the Casio and Rolex thing was just impressive. Whose side are you on? Are you on her side, his side, or
Oh,
you don't really care?
I don't really care. I'm just enjoying the show. Have you seen that meme of Michael Jackson eating popcorn? That's how I feel. Just
Got
Twitter
it.
has blown up, and well, we have a friend in common who sells watches. He was telling me yesterday
Yeah,
his sales
Casio.
for Casio tripled the last 2 days.
I messaged him about the same thing.
Yeah.
I tell you.
So for us, for people who don't know, January in Chile is dead. It's our summer. So sales are very, very, very low at these months. And our friend who sells watches, he's celebrating because he's the only one selling right now.
Well, good for him. Good for him. So, Akash, can you tell us in your own words, what's the success behind Elite Perfumes? How have you achieved in such a short time frame become the leading player in perfumes in the country? What makes Elite Perfumes tick?
Well, so I think the one of the key things was I the opportunity we saw, right? So back in 2016 when I founded Elite Perfumes, I was actually here in Chile visiting my family. It was Christmas, and I have a few family members who you know very well that are distributors of fragrances. And when I was looking on what to venture in, um, I noticed that there was no e-commerce fragrance retailer in the country, which kind of surprises me. I don't know if you know this, Amit, but Chile is the second country that consumes the most fragrance in the world by its GDP.
I did not know
So
that.
yeah, it's very interesting. When I was researching, I read that and I was like, this is impossible. How's nobody selling online? I was living in Boston and I was so used to having the Amazon free 2 day shipping. This was just fucking insane to me. It's 2016. It's not,
Sure.
we're not talking about, 1995. And so that was a big opportunity for us. The other big key thing that we did is we started, going very, very hard on digital marketing when Facebook was really, really cheap. And, that was another key component for sure.
Akash, I need you to explain to me, please, the pricing of perfume bottles because it's something I don't really understand. When I sell consumer electronic products, whether it's Apple, Samsung, GoPro, etc., the pricing I have on my website is pretty much identical to the pricing of the department stores or of the brands themselves. But when I look at perfumes, I find the pricing that you have is a significant discount to what I find in retail stores. So I need to understand why are there such high margins in perfumes and who's actually making the money here? Is it the retailer? Is it the middleman? Or is it the brand? So maybe if you could give me an example for $100 retail perfume, where does that go?
So for us, what you normally see in consumer electronics is an Apple iPhone being priced the same all over the world. With fragrances, a little bit different, right? So you will see different pricing depending on the brand, depending on the product, because there's an oversupply of 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 fragrances than its demand. So we end up buying a lot of products and importing them because we get a better pricing maybe in the US or in Europe rather than locally in Chile. So what ends up
Okay.
happening is for us, $100 bottle, we make $25 on an average. But what we would normally sell at $100, the big retail chain stores will sell 150. They will make 50, and the brand will make another 25 to 30. So what ends up happening is there's just a different pricing model for big retail chain, but we don't work directly with all the brands. We work directly with some brands, and the rest is imported through distributors. We look for the best price that any distributor can give us. That's why we tend to be priced a lot cheaper than the chain stores.
Got it. Those are beautiful margins. I think I'm in the wrong line of business. Tell us about your team, your operations. Are you self-funded? Do you work with bank loans? Are you VC funded? Can you tell us a little bit about that, and also about the team? To sell 12, 20 million plus a year, it's not just you and the warehouse. It's a team that you've built. Can you get into a bit of details to teach other people, please?
Early on in my career, in my last venture, I was part of a startup. We went under for because we didn't take care of our cash flow. So when I started this business, I had $10,000. I had to be very careful about buying carefully, paying on time, and having the right product. I was I had the luck that I had a couple family members in the business, so I could well, they were distributors, so I could get a little bit of credit line on on a small amount. That helps us get started. We were self funded. While until till today, I still own 100% of the equity on the company. Um, we were lucky enough that we started doing well very early on. Therefore, the bank started giving us very good interest rates on the loans. Right now, we have about, I'd say, half of our inventory is still funded by bank loans, and half of the inventory is self-funded with the cash flow that we've been producing over the years. But it's been a pretty healthy mix of both. I definitely think COVID has helped because we were able to get a lot of funding through very low interest rates. And as for the team, most of the people who are with us today, they've been with me for a very long time. Some of them, even my right hand today in the business, she's been with me since day one. We just hired a VP of business development. She's been in a week, but before that, um, was just, everybody in the company is very young. We started just learning from other people. Well, like yourself, Amit, I've gone to you for a ton of advice, and other friends too, on how to structure our teams. But our structure has been very lean. It's had me. I've been wearing a lot of the hats until the last year or two, where I started actually building a team. We got a head of finance, we got a head of operations, we got a head of marketing, and now that we're trying to take it to another level, I had to bring in somebody with a lot of experience, right?
Okay, let's try something different today. I'm going to ask you some quick questions, and you can just throw out whatever comes in your mind.
Yeah.
Um, what's next? What's next for Elite? In one sentence, is it horizontal
Next,
expansion, vertical, another country, more product lines? What's on your mind? What do you sleep dreaming of?
we're definitely we're opening up new categories. We're acquiring new brands, and we're opening up more stores in key locations. I have it very clear what we're heading to.
Okay, and today your sales pie chart. You sell online on eliteperfumes.cl. You do a bit of wholesale. What's the pie look like today? Is it 80-20, 50-50?
Well, it used to be 80-20 with everything opening back up after the pandemic. It's 60% e-com. I'd say 25% wholesale, and the other 15 would be our retail stores.
Okay, great. And do you see
Yeah,
growth in the
yeah.
retail stores? Are they marketing expenses or are they profitable standalone stores?
Well, so the retail stores are very profitable. Just the volume we're trying to get is not as high as what the e-com can do. But that's where we see a big opportunity. Chile, compared to other places in the world, which is something very interesting. The people here love to go to the mall, man. They go to the mall when they're bored. On the weekends, they take their kids to the mall. Um, that's why even before COVID and after COVID, we see people going back to offline shopping. Um, it's not like a lot of people are. I think things are gonna downsize a little bit in retail, but the main shopping malls are still gonna be great spots to be in.
Okay. I'm glad you're making money in the retail stores. I just closed two stores in December. I got two
Oh,
stores
that's
left,
rough.
and neither of them are making money. So I don't know how you do it, but I guess the higher margins might explain most of that. I wanted to ask you, what are the challenges that you faced? I mean, I've had constant theft. I've had constant battle with suppliers on margin. I've had everywhere I look, every day is a new problem. So far, I've only heard good things about your story. I want to know, what are the bad things that's happened to you in your journey, and how did you overcome them? Maybe if you can give me some examples, that would be great.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I can tell you from starting up, it was very tough. People didn't take me very seriously because I was 24 years old. They would laugh at my face when I talked about e-commerce because it wasn't a big thing. Everybody thought I'd left the US, and I studied in a prestigious university, a great job, and all that stuff. And I came back, and I was here trying to open up an online store, and luckily, luckily it worked out. Every year has been a challenge, for sure. There's been a ton of challenges. Um, Things from running out of funding in the second year, when the whole there was a lot of political disruption in 2019. But something very very particular to us is that I'd got the licensing for two brands that were a big part of our revenue, and we just lost that 6 months ago. So that's rough. And yeah, even personal challenges, having when you're working to build something, and you don't expect the growth to be that fast, it kind of consumes you personally. You tend to burn out, you tend to make mistakes. um, Luckily nothing that has taken us into bankruptcy, but I've been lucky on that. But definitely many things that have been that have put me on the ropes.
So when you do get stressed out, what's your release? Going to a nightclub, going for a good meal, going to the gym? What's helped you?
Lately, I've been doing Muay Thai, which is like boxing, but it involves kicks and hits with the elbow. I've been working out a ton, and just trying to be more social, meet friends, family, have a good time. I think that's very important. We kind of sometimes we lose the notion of time when you're busy building. Um, it's almost like it became an obsession for me the first couple of years, and that's when you start burning out, right? And also something
Sure.
very important is getting a good team. My team's been very supportive. They've been able to execute very well, so I'm very proud of them. Um, and yeah, I mean, those are the things that I think
Yeah, I
have
think
helped me for sure.
one thing I've always looked up to Elite Perfumes is as the correct marketing guide for me. I go to your website very often. I receive your newsletters, even though I think there are too many newsletters I receive of yours. Whenever I speak to somebody in the marketing world, they say that the number of emails that you sent is actually the correct frequency. So kudos to that. Kudos to you for that. Um, I wanted to ask you about marketing. I'm now considering writing my own copyright, especially thanks to ChatGPT and OpenAI. The things that I've seen with ChatGPT and DALI 2 is blowing my mind. Is this something that you've toyed around with? Is this something that you're already using? Or is it still your brain and in the shower coming up with the brilliant ideas?
We're not openly using ChatGPT yet, but I just think it's amazing what they've done. I think OpenAI has built something that is just, we don't. It's so advanced. The intelligence that the software has is just insane. But I'm definitely trying to push my team to use it. Um, and we were actually toying around with it yesterday. And I think it's very near in our future. I think an AI will do a much better job than you or I and the best marketing minds for sure. I mean, it's just getting so much data. Did you I don't know if you've seen that, but I read that OpenAI is now valued at $29 billion. In a few weeks,
Yeah.
it went up from nothing to $29 billion.
Well, Microsoft is pumping another 10 billion. So because of that round of funding, I believe that's why they've come up with that number. But I think AI is going to give Google finally a run for the money. So I'm excited about that. So you also believe AI is going to be your next copyright and marketing team, and we won't need marketing agencies for that anymore.
I do believe that, and I also believe that platforms like Facebook. I just met the Facebook guy today. He's in Chile. Came from Argentina. I had lunch with him, and he was pushing us to move into ASC, which is Advantage Shopping Campaign, which the algorithm takes care of everything. All you have to do is put in the copy and the creative. So basically, what you have to do is go to Chat GPT, get the copy, go to DALI 2, get the imaging, put it on Facebook, and it's gonna run an ad, and it's gonna optimize it even better than what you or me or an agency could do. That's just insane. All like I think it's gonna be a big disruptor for for marketing agencies for sure.
And will that still be doing A/B testing, or it's so intelligent that it won't need to do testing? It'll know right off the bat what the best conversions are going to be.
Well, so what it A/B tests everything very quickly, and then it starts gathering purchasing data or traffic, view, link clicks, and starts using a predictive modeling like base to start building what works for you. And this is what
Amazing.
Facebook is headed to. Everything's going to be AI. And I
Uh,
think I think Google pumping in 10 billion to AI. Um, it's not that they want
Microsoft.
it. Oh, Microsoft? Is it Microsoft?
Microsoft pump.
Yeah.
Yeah, Microsoft.
I think it's just to keep up. You know what I mean? Like, they have Azure, but I don't know. I think it's gonna be a big game changer.
I just got back from Las Vegas CES, the Consumer Electronics Show, and it's amazing how many people are wearing those stupid
Oculus.
VR, AR glasses. Uh, I mean, Oculus, but thinner, hopefully cheaper.
Yeah.
And literally, I posted a video on my Facebook. There's about 30 people with VR glasses, and all they were doing was at the same time they were going somewhere. And I asked the guy, the host, what they were doing, and he said they're shopping from home.
Oh God.
So literally, they were sitting at home, they were walking to the mall in their augmented capacity, and they were actually going into for them, a 3D shop, and they were buying things just by clicking some buttons. So the future is actually not very far away.
How
What we see in movies is happening soon.
how did that make you feel? Were you scared? Were you like anxious or excited?
Uh, I didn't even try it. I did not even sit down and try. What I did do is they have future massage chairs, and these massage chairs are incredible. They cost $10,000. They're made in Japan, and you sit down in it, and honestly, you don't want to get up. And you close your eyes, and you forget you're even in a show. They're brilliant.
S-
Honestly, technology is going to affect everything.
So your trip was all play, no work, huh?
Uh, Actually, I would say it was 95% play, because the things, they had Uber in like, these planes, and they had virtual reality things, and I think on average the price tickets were a bit too expensive. They had amazing TVs, $20,000 for a TV. I
Wow,
just don't think Chile is ready today for that, but it's always good to see the trends, meet the people in the industry, and represent.
for
So
sure, for sure,
I've told you before. I think what you've done with Elite at your young age is nothing short of a miracle, and I wish you all the best to keep crushing it. I want to get to know you as a leader. Um, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Single, married? What's your morning routine? Anything that can highlight for us, please.
for sure. I'm 30 years old. I'm single. I do not believe in morning routines. I believe in keeping on conserving your energy and using it when it's needed. I used to do a big morning routine beforehand, but I just felt like it held me back more than help me get to my full potential or enjoy my day. What I do now is I definitely there are 3 days I wake up earlier just to get to the gym. Um, but the other days, sometimes I wake up either at 7 or at 9, depending if I had a late night or an early morning. I believe that I do not work well early morning. I work better late, like in the evenings, nights. And I also think that there are these moments in the day where like I just feel like getting things done and I get things done very quickly. And there are I could even tell you that there are days that I feel like a week's worth of things done and I won't be motivated enough I'll keep running into the same issues for 2 days and not and not be able to get those tasks done. So I've learned that I need to kind of like follow my energy and go all in when I'm feeling it. It's worked for me phenomenally, and I highly recommend it if your job doesn't require you to be very very structured.
I think I was the same when I was young and single. Now that I'm old, married with two monster sons, I think for us, a routine is fundamental. Especially with the baby sleeping or not sleeping. I think a routine has really helped me. What about books you read, podcasts you follow? Tell us a little bit about that.
So I've been following this podcast for a while. My First Million by Sean VP and
Love
Sam
it.
Parr. Yeah, I think it's a great time. That's kind of the only podcast I'm listening to right now. I do listen to another one sometimes that's direct to consumer stuff. That's from Moise Ali and Nick Sharma. That's more
Limited
e-commerce
supply.
detail, limited supply. They've done a great job on that. As for the rest of the time, I kind of listen to a lot of books. I haven't been reading that much, but the last one I read was U Squared. which was kind of like how to achieve, it was a 35 page kind of manifesto book about reaching your potential. It was it was interesting, definitely. A book I do recommend for mindset is Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. I love that book. I think he's a bit too extreme, but just to see somebody push themselves that hard, kind of makes you think that the mind and the body is capable of a lot more than what you'd expect. I highly recommend it just to kind of like get into the mood.
Great.
Um,
I've not read any, but I'm writing notes.
yeah. And as for business, a book that's really helped me is Traction. And it's a book that kind of gives you a framework of things you should be measuring, how you should be leading your team, and it's been very helpful for me. Um, yeah, those
Got
are
it.
the kind of things I've been listening to or reading.
If you go back to being 24 and entering Chile, any advice or what should a 24-year-old be looking at in terms of starting a business in Chile? Is it too late? Are there still opportunities in e-commerce, for example, which is your area of expertise? What would you recommend for a young Akash at 24 if he had to start all over again?
So if I were to start 2023, I would not go into e-commerce or retail. I think things are very, very rough. Yeah, things are
Wow.
very, very rough. Unless you have, a very good direct to consumer product with high margins, and it's something that's not available in Chile.
You just
That's
don't want competition.
Yeah, exactly,
That's
right? That's all you're looking for, right? Which in a smaller market, I'm pretty sure there are opportunities. But I'd look into more service-based businesses. But I do think that e-commerce and retail is not a good place right now. But I also think it's not gonna stay like that for a very long time, right? However, I always think there's an opportunity if you're hungry enough to be able to jump in. I feel like even knowing all this, I would still jump in right now. I don't know if that makes
okay.
sense. I just feel like you gotta,
It,
there are opportunities. You just gotta look a lot harder for them.
for some reason, it makes perfect sense to me. So, Akash, how does someone reach you? If somebody wants to connect with you, are you open to giving out your email, your Twitter handle, Instagram? Is that something you would
Yeah,
like to share
for
with us?
sure. You can hit me up through Twitter. It's Akash Goklani all together, or Instagram Akash.Goklani, and LinkedIn too. I use all three. I think those are the three best ways to reach me. And yeah, no, I'd love to connect with whoever wants to connect.
Akash, thank you so much. Always enjoy speaking with you, and I hope to see you soon in person. Take care.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amit. Thank you for your time. This has been great. Thanks for having me.
Take care.
You too.
Thank you all for joining us. Today we spoke with Akash Goklani, and we will be in touch shortly for more episodes of Direct to Chile, a podcast where we speak about what it's really like to do business in Chile. Thank you all.